County Board of County Commissioners meeting will come to order. Let the record show that today is December the 16th, 2020. The time is 9:00 a.m. If you would join me for a salute to our flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Wakey wanted to argue.
Under God.
Put a pot knot on him, huh? Dirty rascal. Yeah. Just a second here. And Madam Clerk to the board, would you conduct the roll, please?
Commissioner Flower.
Present.
Commissioner Kanda.
Here.
Commissioner Prince.
Here.
Attorney Clint Smith.
Present.
And clerk to the board, Kelly Camper, present.
All right. And Mr. Jordan Benson is with us today in the commissioner room, handling the IT side of things. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Thank you. Amendments to the agenda.
I have none, sir.
Mr. Kanda.
None here.
I've got one I would like to submit, and that would be, I would move that we add under new business, signing the sheriff's office contract with Silver Cliff.
Say that again.
Add signing the sheriff's office contract with Silver Cliff. Mayor Wenzel requested that we take action on these contracts and get those signed and back to him. It was through we budgeted that income from both of the towns.
We had it before.
On that. Is there a second?
I mean, I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to amend the agenda, add sign sheriff office contract with Silver Cliff. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanda.
Aye.
Commissioner Flower. Aye. Motion carries. So we will add that under new business. Shall we put it at the very end?
Yes,
It's just a paperwork deal. So let me add that real quick. Here, so okay, any other amendments? Hearing none, we'll move on. Commissioner items. Commissioner Prince, would you like to begin?
Sure. I attended the Board of Health meeting on the 11th and then again on the 14th. The Coronavirus Relief Fund on the 11th. And yesterday, a very excellent, I guess that's oxymoron, an excellent presentation about how Custer County will be rolling out the vaccines and prioritization and that kind of thing. I was very impressed with that whole organization. They had their act together, they had a plan, and they were ready to execute it as soon as vaccines show up. That's all I've done.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually had 3 BOHs, believe it or not.
Did we? It's on this
Hard to believe.
went to
They
it.
just all over the place. So, yeah, that's bringing up CARES issues as well. Big thing that I've been working lately, though, is the airport AWAS, and it's still waiting for the final schedule to get it turned on. It's ground's frozen out there. Electric's been hooked up, but we got to get the schedule done. And I'm also arguing about the misplacement of the transformer device, the distribution box. So I've got a meeting with Armstrong to figure out how to pay for that. Not that we can't, it's just I want to get it rectified. So that's where we are. Let's see. Yeah, that's it for now. I couldn't make that vaccination meeting. I'm glad to hear it went well.
Great. Yeah, as you have mentioned, attended those Board of Health meetings as well on the 9th and the 11th and the 14th. On the 10th, as we had talked about it, I did sit in on a pre-trial conference for a pending lawsuit, but the defendant never showed up. I was excited and with bated breath waiting to actually listen to. It was a virtual.
Well, you lead a
Hearing.
boring life if you were with bated
But,
breath.
Wanted to see and listen to our attorney
Yeah,
in
in action.
this hour, but
Absolutely badly to
had a
get to
note.
do his thing.
had a no-show, so I'm assuming the judge was going to write an order subsequent to that. And, do you know, has it been rescheduled or what's
I
the
haven't seen
status?
the order. I'm not sure. I doubt that she would reschedule it.
I wouldn't think.
I would think that if anything, she might allow me to ask for a default judgment on this.
Yeah,
So, but I'm waiting for the order.
yeah. Jackie Hobby and I were the only ones in attendance. We showed up, by golly.
And I could see you, I guess.
Oh, you could? Yeah. We didn't have any way to see you, but so anyway. And then on the 11th, attended the Coronavirus Relief Fund meeting. And on the 14th, attended the fiber broadband meeting via Zoom, and then also the vaccination planning meeting yesterday
Yeah,
via Zoom.
that's right. I meant to mention that meeting I thought was pretty good. When in crisply anyway. Good summary.
And then I've got some other items I want to bring before the board today. We have an applicant for our maintenance position. I wanted to ask council, are we okay to name names just in a general conversation about a pending application, or should we not? What I was going to do is ask the board's permission to go ahead and work with Donna and offer the applicant a job for 20 hours a week, half-time for our maintenance position.
She sent us the resume.
It's the only application.
Yes.
And you've been looking for somebody for a while.
Oh, yeah, it's been
Years.
posted since October, yeah.
So are, all of you reasonably satisfied with this individual?
I think so.
I think it's okay to name
Yeah,
them.
okay, so, gentlemen, I would request approval to go ahead and offer Dave Roscoe a position for the maintenance job.
I agree.
And I concur.
I would think a motion would probably be in effect since it's going to
I
involve.
move we hire Dave Roscoe for our maintenance.
I'll make an offer to him.
Make the offer.
Yeah. Okay,
And I'll second that.
all right, it's been moved and seconded to offer a job to Dave Roscoe for a maintenance position, 20 hours a week at the salary that was listed. Discussion. Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Commissioner Kanda.
Aye.
Sorry, Commissioner Prince.
It's fine.
We're going this direction today.
Too bad.
I should tell you that so that you'll know. Commissioner Kanda,
Aye.
Commissioner Flower, aye. Motion carries. Okay, I will proceed with Miss Donna. We'll get
Did you ever say aye, Jay?
He did, yeah.
I mean, I just
You're
said
so
it
soft.
real loud.
I'll tell you, I had a hard time the other day hearing Buck vote. I
Yeah,
bet 3 times. I said, Buck, you gonna vote? I did. Oh, didn't hear. Okay. So then the other thing is Miss Donna came in this morning and requested that we provide a signature on the certification of levies and revenues when it's completed later today. She needs it before our next meeting, and it's just a signature from the commissioners. We don't technically verify those. The state does that, but there's a signature line on that document as well. So
I'll move that we authorize you to sign that.
certification of levies
Thank you.
and revenues, yeah.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize signature on the certification of levies and revenues later this afternoon. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanda.
Aye.
Commissioner Flower votes aye. Carries.
And what is that certification?
Certification of levies and revenues. And then I wanted to also update the board that we did, based on our on a previous meeting, submitted a voucher for the Rotary van for $2,500. We actually voted on that in our a meeting after we did the budget because the Rotary Van folks realized it couldn't be through
Right.
Conservation Trust Fund.
Right.
And so then we voted later on to pay that out of community outreach. And so we just never got the vouchers.
Right, she was in and wondered where it was.
She was.
Some representative, yeah, she said, we know you voted on it, but we haven't seen the check. Did it get lost in the mail?
We authorized it.
Right,
Yeah,
it did. and-
so just
Said it
wanted to
thought you
update you that that voucher has been filled out and submitted. It'll be coming through
Good deal.
the process. So that's all I have. Anything else, gentlemen?
I have nothing.
Strategic plan,
Nothing yet.
CVRF,
We are winding down CVRS. We're taking no new applications. We had one application that was timely filed, but there were some questions. Do we know if that organization will be able to address us? I believe Friday is when we're gonna meet again.
that's a Braden question.
Okay,
I don't know that.
all right. Thank you. That's all I have.
Yeah, I didn't have anything either, really.
It's been a terrific program and
Getting ready for the next one, but who knows if it will be much.
Any items?
Um,
Sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up.
I attended the Board of Health meeting last Friday and the one on Monday. And I prepared the press release that you approved on Monday. I did send that out to the White Mountain Tribune, the Sentinel, and Valley Beat. And I engaged in some other activities relating more to the Board of Health. And I had some confidential attorney-client communications with you concerning that. I worked with the Henry Miller from Westcliff Meats did hire an attorney, and I worked with her. She was very cooperative. She wanted a few minor changes. For example, I spelled COVID with a capital C and then lowercase letters. And she insisted the correct way is all capital letters. So made a few changes to that agreement. And she sent it to Mr. Miller. And he actually brought it into Jackie Hobby this morning and signed it in front of her, and she'll be bringing it over when she comes up, or that comes up on the agenda to get that agreement signed. The site visit that we tentatively scheduled for Thursday, I notified the attorney for the Live and Goods that we were going to have to postpone that because everything's under snow right now, and it's not going to be gone by Thursday. So I'll have to try to get, I don't know when we're going to get that rescheduled, maybe next spring sometime.
Bones left.
And I had that pretrial conference that was scheduled on the case for the individual who has refused to install a septic system. And he did not show up in person. He didn't call in on the phone. And the judge issued, or the clerk was chatting with me through this WebEx system. That's how I was participating. She said the judge was going to issue a written order. I haven't seen that yet, so I'm not sure what it would be. And then yesterday evening, I got kind of not a frantic call, but an urgent call from Teresa Kennedy at the West Custer County Hospital District, because I had said way last year that they needed to submit their mill levies separately for the hospital district and for EMS. And they didn't. They submitted them together again, which is how they've always done it. I had told, well, actually I talked to Donna about it, and then she told JD, because he's the one that handles that initially. And JD called her, and then she called me, and I decided not to make an issue of it. They've been doing it that way, and auditors have never questioned it. So I didn't feel like playing hardball on that, although I still think they're two separate mill levies and should be certified separately. And I guess that's everything I've done.
Okay, do you believe that for the future, we should send them a formal letter requesting that henceforth they certify those as two separate mills or not?
I would prefer to see, I mean, since there are two separate mill levies that were voted on separately,
Right.
I think they really should be, because all the other mill levies that, come through are all done separately.
So formally, should the letter be sent now, then asking them to do it in the future?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Somebody-
now, this
Otherwise,
time,
they'll just blow it off again. Maybe.
I mean, nobody, the auditors and everybody else, I guess nobody has really questioned it, and this is how they've been doing it since, well, 2014 is when that mill levy for EMS was approved, starting, so it 2015, 16, they've been doing it for about 5 years now, I guess, but
Right. But it's our job to certify them.
yeah, and which is mostly a formality, but I would prefer to see it certified as a separate.
Right.
She
But-
assured me that they do keep all their books separate for the two,
Right.
and I don't have any reason to question any of that, but.
No,
like
I
to
don't
see
either,
it
but
separate.
technically and legally, if it ever had to go to court for something, I would assume it should have been certified as two separate meals.
Well, and
because that's how
especially
it's
if
about.
EMS ever breaks away from the hospital district at some point.
Right. I mean, there's a reason we certify it, right?
Correct.
So,
So if you want me to, I can send a letter to the hospital district saying in the future.
I think it'd be appropriate. And maybe if you have to cite the ballot initiatives and how those were listed or.
Yeah, I don't remember if the question, when it was presented on the ballot, if it was presented by the hospital district.
Yeah, I think they did submit that, didn't they, Kelly? That come through
14.
The clinic submitted
the initiative, the ballot initiative. Yeah. I don't know who else would have done it on their behalf.
I think they were the ones that initiated, but I have a copy of that. I'll take a look but I'll draft a letter and say that the Board of County Commissioners wants them certified separately in the future.
Good. And then, are we still under attorney items?
Yes.
Good. Such a long-winded report that I forgot where we were at.
It's so important, that's why.
Got a question for you, Clint. I know this is from coming out in left field. And it has to do, and I think we deal with it with Board of Health and the BOCC. In the early days of this coronavirus/virtual meeting lives we're living, we did go through and allow everybody to introduce themselves. And then we kind of got away from it because it was very cumbersome. Should we technically be doing that, or is there a reason?
No,
Can you think of a reason why we would have to do that?
there's no requirement to, I mean, if we were in a large metropolitan area and had 100 people in attendance, you don't go over to everybody introduce themselves. The speaker needs to introduce himself or herself. If somebody has a public comment, but other than that, there's no reason to do that. It's always been done as a matter of courtesy here because of the small attendance.
Right.
And because most of the time, everybody that's in the room anyway.
Yeah, I think it sure cleaned up. I remember one Board of Health meeting, it took us 15 minutes to go through because everybody kept walking on everybody else. So I thought it was a good, clean process. I just wanted to follow up and make sure that we weren't obligated to do that or obligated to allow people to do that. So
No.
just wanted to ask that real quick. All right, thank you, sir. Anything else?
No.
Clint? Thank you. Obviously, no admin assistant items, although I will let the group know that I asked Clint or Vernon to include me on the admin assistant email list. So when that computer, that person gets an email currently, I also get that. And I'm glad we did that because we had an outstanding balance on an Amazon bill. So I'm scheduled to meet with Miss Kara and we'll clean that up. But I wouldn't have known that prior to, and the email said they weren't going to process any more orders until we got that taken care of. So anyway, I just want to let you know that those are routing through my computer as well. If you guys want, I can have him add you to that. I mean, I'd love for you
I don't want.
to take. Dang it. Well, I tried. That's all we can do. Okay, public comment. Does anybody have anything that's on the call today that you'd like to comment to the BOCC about that is not on the agenda?
We got anyway.
Okay, hearing none, we will move on.
That's all.
Any unfinished business that I'm not aware of, gentlemen?
I don't have anything.
None here.
Nor do I. So we'll move on to new business. We will allow public comment on each item prior to voting. If the items, actually, I think we have one discussion item. So, but if it's an action item, we will allow the opportunity for public comment. So the first item of business is consideration of ratifying the library board trustees. What is the?
I move we certify, what did you say, ratify or certify? Ratify the library board trustees as they were provided.
Probably should state the name.
Yeah, that's just what I was gonna.
I lost it. I gotta get off this screen.
Sorry, with you, I will go ahead and add the.
Go ahead and add the names because I've lost the.
It's been moved and seconded to ratify approval of the library board of trustee, Debbie Rabinowitz, for a 3-year term.
There, I got it.
Beginning January 1, 2021, ending December 2023. Is there a second? Or I guess we did have a second, correct?
We did,
Yeah. If discussion, gentlemen?
No.
I appreciate people when they step up and volunteer, so.
Yeah, very
Thank
good.
you,
She's been
Debbie.
serving as an interim chair, so
I know.
I know she's been helping out in that position as well. So
We appreciate when people do that.
public comment. Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of ratifying the board member of Debbie Rabinowitz, say aye. Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Commissioner Canada.
Aye.
Mr. Flower votes aye. Carries. I will shoot him an email today and let him know that that has occurred.
Good.
Next item, consideration of funding the VFW holiday baskets. John, VSO officer, spoke to us about this at the last meeting. What's the group's pleasure?
I move that we see was it John? The VFW holiday baskets funding for that requested by the ESO.
Do you have an amount, sir?
Was it 1,500, 1,000?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to fund the VFW holiday baskets in the amount of $1,000. I will make an assumption that you intend for that to come out of community outreach, sir.
Yes.
Great. Discussion. Yeah, just to follow up on what we had talked about. Obviously, we couldn't decide because it wasn't on the agenda.
Right.
So $1,000 from the community outreach. I checked. We have sufficient funds in that account to cover that. So that's, we have sufficient funds in that account after paying the Rotary van, $2,500. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, or sorry, public comment? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye. Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Commissioner Canada.
Aye.
Commissioner Flower, aye. Motion carries. I will shoot Mr. John in the email, John, and probably better officially let Donna know too. We'll have to fill out a voucher for that. Okay. Consideration of the West Cliff Meats Agreement. Do we want to call Jackie?
Yeah, she has it.
Okay, I'll call her.
What she has different than what we got.
Only
Only
the
the,
corrections. Yeah, that attorney is more of a stickler than I am for punctuation and everything.
She's either on her way over.
She probably was listening
Yeah, I didn't see it unless we had one phone number, two phone numbers now, so someone else has joined, so I don't know who those are. So we'll give her a minute.
in. And I don't know if the attorney representing Mr. Miller was gonna participate or not. I got the impression she was not.
Okay. Kelly, you were going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Thought you were waving at me. Gentlemen, you okay if we just temporarily hold off on that until Jackie gets here? We'll move on.
Sure.
Consideration of renewing the liquor license for the Alpine Lodge. What's the group's pleasure?
I move we approve the liquor license for 1 year for Alpine Lodge, provided Kelly concurs and all the
Okay, is there a second?
second,
guys.
Been moved and seconded to approve the liquor license application for the Alpine Lodge. Actually, it's for Richard Castendick doing business as the Alpine Lodge.
All
Discussion. So we have a copy of the application itself and a copy of the sheriff's report. I was hoping this would be the year we had a drunk and disorderly out of there, but it didn't happen. So we're still at zeros.
Hey, we could still have a luncheon, the three of us, and we could get one.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we'd have to post that.
Sure, yeah.
that's okay.
We'd post that we're having drunk and disorderly.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm waiting for bated breath on the vote on this because I'm going there for dinner tonight.
Oh, you are? Well,
You want to make sure they got the booze.
Well, yeah, that's,
yeah,
because
so,
we'll get a drunk and disorderly.
yeah.
It's my 41st wedding anniversary.
Oh, really?
Congratulations.
Wow. Congratulations. Today?
Yes,
Oh, be darned.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I'm spending it here with you guys.
it's amazing, isn't it?
Really
You should have brought
touching,
your wife.
very touching.
Yeah, that's what she'd like to do.
We could have stuck a mask on her, shoved her in the back and told her to be quiet.
That's what I've done for 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's.
I'm surprised it's gonna be 42 now.
It may not be, that's, yeah.
It's always a crap
Oh,
show.
my gosh, that's great. Further discussion, gentlemen? Public comment? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of approving the liquor license? I failed. I was going to ask Kelly if she had anything specifically, but I'm assuming if she did, she would have said something. Say aye, Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Commissioner Campbell.
Aye.
Commissioner Flowers. Aye. Motion carries. Please do not put him at any risk tonight of him losing it next year. Fair enough.
I'll do my best.
There.
Thank you. I thought that was a little funky too.
I know.
when I saw that.
It was, it must have, it just printed out weird or something.
I'm also surprised it doesn't ask for a printed name.
On your signature?
Yeah,
Yeah, it never has.
kind of weird.
Do we have something for that last agenda item? Or do we have-
No,
Pardon me?
We don't do it. Okay, I'm just asking Kelly. The pilt funding.
Oh,
I was curious.
oh, okay, yeah. Let me try that again. I don't know what's going on there.
She's probably out having a donut because she knows we are really more verbose than we've been today. It's all only 9:30.
Hey, Ronnie, see if Jackie's in her office. We're waiting on her. Thank you. And is somebody on the call today that wants to speak about the fire mitigation request?
and hopefully, I told him more like toward 8:45 or 9:45 or 10,
Okay.
10 o'clock.
We have two people on with phone numbers. So
Oh,
I just was
yeah.
checking to see
I
if.
can't remember that gentleman's name that's called.
But one of them got off, so
Only see one number.
guess you better not make mention or they'll just hang up. Is the person on the phone with the last two digits of the phone number 85? Are you on the call to discuss the Corona Verde fire mitigation request? Hello?
If it is him, I have bad service.
Okay, all right. He did unmute, but we'll see now that I've asked him, he'll probably keep trying to get on. So we'll go back to our consideration of the West Cliff Meets Agreement. Ms. Jackie, good morning. How are you?
Good.
Please come forward. So we have a copy of agreement, but it's probably not the most recent. Is that the idea?
The one that Jackie brought in today that was signed by Henry Miller this morning, and I saw it in there.
Okay.
Yeah, he did sign it, and I see you did fix COVID.
Yeah, it's all been fixed now, so it was just a few
We just get some
grammatical
copies of
changes.
this real quick, please.
You want to sign it first and then get copies?
It requires, you do need to vote
Okay,
on it
to sign it,
to
right.
formally approve this agreement. As Ms. Hawkins
Okay,
said.
so let's back up a little bit. So what exactly is different in this document versus the one that we had to look at for this meeting? How's that? Welcome to look at it. I wouldn't know what to look at the changes,
Well,
so,
under the third whereas,
yes.
where it cites the Colorado Solid Waste Act,
Uh-huh,
I had CRS 30-20-111. She inserted the section.
oh, okay,
I mean, things like that. There's,
okay.
and
What is that section, Jay? Can you,
it's that double S symbol that you use for section.
oh, I see, I got it. She didn't cite the section number.
No, she
Okay.
just put that.
Just
double
that,
S, 'cause
I don't
have
even know where that symbol lives on a computer, so,
Yeah, you gotta go to symbols,
okay.
right below drums. And then on the next page, page 2, in paragraph
You're
number.
killing me.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead. Page 2.
In paragraph number 1 on page 2, COVID is all capital letters. That's the
Oh.
preferred spelling.
Yeah,
And ditto, it appears somewhere else in here, and she made that change also.
all right, okay.
She on the last page.
And let's see, trying to see if on although she didn't correct me, I see on page 3 in paragraph F, she left the word section spelled out rather than using the
Yeah,
symbol for it. But
saw that.
And she changed dollars. I think I had $10,000. I don't know, either had it had the dollars, it was a capital letter or a small, and she changed it, whichever I had, she
Okay.
changed it to the opposite. Although later on in that same paragraph,
Yeah, it
it's,
appears differently, doesn't it?
yeah, so
Good
I
night.
didn't argue. And then in paragraph G, COVID again.
Okay,
And those were the only changes that she
Okay.
made.
all right, good. What's your pleasure?
We signed the agreement as it's presented by Jackie and signed by Mr. Miller and by our attorney.
Is Ms. Hobby signed it yet?
No.
Okay.
He's not taking that chance.
For a second? I'll second the motion. Moved and seconded to sign the agreement concerning a special use permit issued to one Mr. Henry Miller, correct? Was not issued to West Cliff Meats.
Correct,
It was issued to the owner of the business.
correct.
Discussion. He came in, you said, I think said today or yesterday and signed this.
Today.
Today.
I should also note that he had dated it 10/15/20, and Jackie had to call him and have him come back and change the 10 to 12.
Okay. Let's see that. Any comments?
No, after you sign it, and I'll sign it, and then we'll give it to the clerk and recorder to have recorded.
And provide him with a copy.
Yes, he'll get the original.
Any further discussion, gentlemen? Public comment pertaining to the signing of the agreement with Henry Miller. Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Commissioner Prince.
Aye.
Commissioner Kanda.
Aye.
Commissioner Flower votes aye. Motion carries.
Jackie, he gets the original or
You keep the original.
Okay,
give him a copy?
That's what we normally do, isn't it?
And I guess if you're gonna give it to him, I'll let him get it to his lawyer.
I'll sign it and go make copies and bring them back to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that.
Just so you know, that was Hank Miller that was on there that hung up, and so Brian was the landfill was the other number that was on.
Oh. Okay, thank you. So not who we were hoping.
Right.
70.
The 3074 is Brian's
Yeah.
number, and
Thought it looked a little
0585 was Hank's.
Um, So let me look here. So we had a request to have a discussion about considering funding another fire mitigation plan for Corno Verde. Kelly and I understood the person was going to be on the call today, so we're still a little early, right?
Yeah. Want
So we might
to do
postpone for a little bit.
Silver Cliff contracts?
Yeah, or we can take a little break, a little restroom break. And then come
Let's do the sheriff's thing first. How about that? Unless you really got to.
back. Yeah, we can.
That way we just got one to hit.
Okay. So we'll move on then, if you're all right with that.
Sure.
To the final agenda item. Gosh, dang it.
We gotta find it again.
Kelly, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this other agreement away that you gave me today.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Don't get mixed up.
Mayor Wenzel requested that we consider signing the contract between the sheriff's office and the town of Silver Cliff for law enforcement services. We talked about this during the budget process, and so it is for $21,700, which is a substantial increase. Both the towns had agreed that they would increase their contractual amount. I've got 4 copies here. I'm the only signature requested.
It's been what we approved in the budget, all of
It
it.
has, yes.
And so I move we accept and sign that, authorize you to sign that for us.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to authorize the chairman, BOCC chairman, to sign the contract between the sheriff's office and town of Silver Cliff. Discussion.
I'll be interested to see if this significant increase for the salaries of the deputies really does keep the deputies here longer. It'll be interesting to see if that truly was the issue or there's other issues involved. So I'm just curious to see that, because that's what precipitated us to give the deputies a much more significant increase in their salary.
Okay, yeah, I had lunch
Just a
with
comment.
Mayor Wenzel yesterday and he gave me these and made me promise that we would, when we were done with them, whatever it was, give them to Kelly for her signature and then either I will return them or he'll come on and get them. So just saying that if this motion passes and we sign them, then Kelly will attest to those as well. So any further discussion about that?
No, sir.
Public comment? Hearing none, we will proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Mr. Day,
Aye.
Mr. Kanda,
Hi.
and Mr. Flower, aye. Motion carries. Somehow this kind of got dropped in the cracks last year and never got done until July. So
Really?
Mayor,
No wonder they were running
Yeah.
rampant up there. Crime was,
he was wanting to make sure we got it all.
Was all over the
this
place.
year. He's the one that wanted the signature and I'm the one that had to buy lunch. I'm not sure how that works. Uh-oh. I got three. Could have sworn he told me there was four.
Says for, is that just with Silver Cliff? It's not the West?
Just Silver Cliff, yes.
Did we already do Westcliff?
No.
I was thinking in the past, we always did one for them and one. for
Right, we
them.
should still do the one for,
I don't know why there was supposed to be
man.
four, but
guess we ought to ask the good mayor.
I can call. and
Kathy.
see, and if.
Yeah, and actually, if there truly is a fourth copy, we've already approved signing it, so. I want to make sure that two didn't get stapled together, but I would have been able to tell the difference. Yeah, he specifically said four to me, but I only see three, so. I think one was for you, one was for the sheriff, maybe one was for us and one for Silver Cliff, so. Really, your copy
Oh, I
represents.
didn't think about.
She's got the,
Yeah,
you can just make it. Seems.
Okay. So without objection, and let me just check one more time. Yeah. Without objection, I move to go, or I would authorize about a 5-minute recess.
Sounds good.
our last item was discussion of PELT funding for Corner Verde. Sorry, I keep thinking maybe this will be a person, but excuse me. Hey, Guinevere.
Oh, yeah. Oh, on this one.
Yeah, I was just, we were kind of holding off to see if somebody was going to call in on the discussion. Oh, apparently somebody is trying to call in, but I think Kelly's trying to deal with that right now. Last name, Matt. Do you have his last name? Okay, thank you. Yeah, Kelly, just as you called, somebody came to the door and said that somebody was trying to call in on that, apparently had the wrong number. So we'll try to get that lined up. All right. Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll put you on speakerphone.
Okay. Do you want to just call it?
Okay, you there, Guinevere?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna be on mute.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't need your kids screaming and letting my grandkids know how that works, and then they start and on and on and on. Right? How are you? Doing okay? Yeah, good. Okay. Yeah. So the office hours, I forget, an extension, are they in the mornings or what did you? 10 to 2, okay. Because I called up there before 10 and didn't get anybody. Okay, very good, thank you. All right, we'll keep you on the line here. And Kelly's trying to get connections made.
Great.
Thanks. All right,
I'm going to mute.
okay. Yeah, wouldn't that be something to be on a live stream meeting and not mute and have your kid in the background go off on something?
The one I loved is the Supreme Court, where they're having a live Zoom meeting, and all of a sudden you hear the toilet flush.
I'd heard that. That was the Supreme Court deal?
I thought it was. I could be wrong. I was some of the thing.
That makes me think one year Larry Handy and I co-announced the West Cliff Stampede Rodeo. And so I was up in the announcing booth and he was in the arena horseback and he was doing his portion of announcing from the arena. And so I was going along and I asked him a question and I looked around over the piano. I said, Larry, where in the world are you at? He said, hold on, it's sure dark in here. He had gone to the bathroom in a portable toilet and took his mic with him. And so he said, okay, what's up? I said, well, I just want to know if you had a chance to talk with that last team broker. No, I didn't, because I'm in the porta john. Oh my gosh.
Leslie Nielsen had a scene like that. And I think it was,
Yeah, I remember.
I don't remember what it
It was
was.
like airport or airplane.
Whatever. Gun
Or the naked
arrested.
gun.
Or the naked.
Naked gun. And he's tooting and.
It's on the intercom.
Oh, yeah. And the Queen of England. And they're all looking at each other.
Yeah, I have not seen that movie.
That was a great movie and a great scene.
Naked Gun, that's the name of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming he is no longer with us. I hadn't heard that
Yeah,
name
he's
in
passed
years.
away. But that, you know who his partner was in that movie? O.J. Simpson,
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
It was, no kidding.
Yeah, it was.
pre-O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, pre. Are we
Back
streaming?
when he was running through airports for Hertz.
Everybody's hearing this conversation. Good.
Well, everybody being Guinevere,
All right.
everybody being Guinevere.
Okay.
And nobody's on.
Our newspaper is not on.
No.
Never showed today.
But they haven't been on lately. I think they just listened later. Huh?
They listen to the tapes.
Yeah, we've dropped a few of our regulars off of the list. There's a guy named Jordan Benson. He's on here, but
He'll be back at 1:30.
He should be on there.
wait, he's not.
He was having trouble with the passcode and when I gave it to him, he said, oh, it worked. So,
Okay, well,
Somebody got to let him in.
we'll give him a minute.
yeah. Matt Clark is his name.
Yeah, that's what Guinevere told me.
Who is this person?
A resident out in Corner Verde that was working with the other fire mitigation plan, Matt Clark.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't had anybody request to come on?
There's no lobby for us. They
Oh, they're not.
click on the
Okay, they come in automatically.
website and you come right in.
I don't see anybody.
Should have. Guinevere, can you hear me okay?
Ought to get his phone number and just dial him
Do
in.
you have, okay, do you have his number? Maybe you could have him call or,
You could dial his number, go do a conference call with Winnebago.
Oh, here he is.
okay.
I see him on the,
Yeah, we got him now. Okay, thank you, ma'am. So you're on Zoom as well, right, Guinevere?
Yeah, I
yes,
see.
sir.
So we can go ahead and disconnect this phone?
Okay.
Okay, all right, thanks. Bye.
See if he can unmute.
Hey.
There you go.
Hi, Matt, how are you? Can you?
Oh, good. I'm up. Hey, guys. Oh, holy cow. Thanks for allowing me on the agenda today.
You're welcome. No problem.
I was in panic mode there because I couldn't get on and I have very poor phone service. So the phone would not have been a good thing, even though I don't see you guys anymore now. So what happened here?
We can
Well,
hear and see you, so just don't touch any buttons.
There you go. Now I got you.
okay.
I don't know what I touched.
Yeah,
But guys,
that's fine.
hey guys, you
Good
know,
morning,
of
how
course,
are you?
I've met you
So-
before. My name's Matt Clark. I'm a 38-year fire management officer with Forest Service, the structure, county, feds, all. I've been around. So, but I'm now retired, and I represent Cuerna Verde up here. That's where I live, and we're doing fuel mitigation projects. I know on the agenda it says that a discussion for PILT funding, but make no mistake, this is a funding request. So,
Okay.
so hey guys, Cuerna Verde's, we're about 3,500 acres large out there. We have 525 lots. We span a pretty good area. Each lot's about 6 acres a piece, and we've got about 200 homes built. We're building about 12 a year. We're really expanding very quickly. And we do a lot of mitigation work out here. I want you to know, even though I'm requesting funding for PILT, we've been very active in fuel mitigation out here. One of the things we do is we have our own slash pile collection site that we allow people to come out and dump their fuel. And we've been doing that for 4 years. We have moved probably 100 tons greater of fuel off these individual sites. And we used to burn it, but that became problematic. Now we're chipping it. But either way, that's been our most successful item here. We also have an educational program. We've got our own website. We teach people why they how houses burn, basically. So it's available to everybody. We used to hold meetings at the clubhouse and do education things, but with the COVID, that's kind of shut us down. So we continue to post videos and such on our website. So we're 3-tier here. We have an educational program, we have the slash pile program, and we are just now finished one of our first PILT funding projects. So it was very successful. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. I want you to know that all my data that I use comes from the State Forest Service, including the request for funds as far as how much it costs. So their numbers are, it costs about $2,500 to $3,000 per household, 6 acres to mitigate. And this year, for 2021, we have 15 homes that we would like to mitigate, that have raised their hand, they would like to mitigate. So the funding request would be for $45,000 from the PILT funding. Now, like I said, all these estimates is what guides that number right there from the Forest Service. We're project ready, guys. Our RFP is successful, and with maybe some minor adjustments, it's ready to go. on our last project, I did all of the marking of the trees. And this is going to be one of the changes coming up. And I wanted to discuss that with you guys today. So right now, our hazardous fuel mitigation is at its all-time high with our community up here. And we'd like to, of course, continue that along with our other projects that we got going on. So the 2021 proposal initiative includes some buy-in. I know that's been a concern with the county commissioners, that they need some front load buy-in from the homeowners out here. We had buy-in on the last one. It was just on the backside. So we offered them the $3,000 per property. And if it went over that, well, then they were going to have to pay the difference. Well, I understand that you may want to have something on the front end. And so I've got a brilliant proposal for you. And I hope you would accept this. And I've already talked to John Grieve. He's the state forester, and he agrees that they should have a little bit of buy-in. And so these 15 new homeowners that want to do this, I'm going to have the State Forest Service do the marking of the trees. And what that does is that's not for free. The State Forest Service charges them a fee. And so the fee runs anywhere between $100 to $300, even more if they want to mark their whole property and not just a hazardous fuel mitigation portion. So, and depending on the slope and everything, so it can grow. But that would be up front. The beauty of it is the Forest Service would do the marking, which relieves me of a lot of hours. I did 90% of the marking, which took up a great deal of my time. Plus, that would make their financial initiative on the homeowner to the state. And the even more brilliant part about this is that we wouldn't have to collect checks and deposit them and then write check. This all falls on Gwen, and me and her and I have been in great discussion about this. So if we initially they were thinking
If you can hear me, Matt, you froze up, or you're currently frozen right now.
You can't hear. It'll come back. I've been on that end before.
He tends to have pretty spotty service.
Wonder if he's coming in over CCOM.
Guinevere, do you know if there was any other discussion about cost share?
Yeah, we had a discussion about it. So that cost share would be up to $500 for the Forest Service to come in and mark trees.
Right.
Is the extent of it.
Do you know what the average cost share on the back end was on this other project we just completed? Did you have any of those figures?
It was less than $500. It
was it
ranged from $250 to
$500.
So that's kind of how we got that.
Yeah. Do you think the Forest Service will mark these trees based on what's right for the fire mitigation plan or what the landowner would like to see moved?
I think that's the beauty of this proposal, is it is more of a wildfire hazard mitigation rather than what the landowner wants.
Okay. Well, it's on the agenda for discussion here. So clearly we're not going to be able to fund $45,000 on another fire mitigation in the same calendar year. So actually, sorry,
He did
for
it
the 2021 year, not the same year. But so I don't know. Did you guys have a conversation about what if the commissioners can't fund that or will not or won't fund part of it or?
No, I just encouraged him to present his whole case and let you guys kind of figure out what prioritize you want.
We don't even know what the pot will be, actually.
Because you guys have some obligation to advertise it 45 days in the paper and all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, you may or may not know this, we've lost our total connection with Matt, so that's why I kind of directed the conversation your way. Would guess that this would be a formal request from the homeowners association. Is that how you view it, Guinevere?
Yeah, yeah, that's how I would view that. I'm not sure. I think he just wanted to make sure that you guys knew he was asking for funding.
I think you need to send us something
Yeah, and I do think,
from the association.
yeah, whatever process you guys have to follow, I think is first and foremost.
Well, yeah, I think the last time they gave us a proposal, I can't remember if it was written or verbal, and then we put that notice forward, as you indicated, to meet our statutory requirements to post that for 45 days. So I would guess at this point, we will take it under advisement. We can put it on a future agenda item. If you think that's appropriate.
Or we could ask Guinevere just to ask them to formalize it. Propose it.
Do you guys know when you have to do all of that stuff for your requirements? Because I don't know that Matt knew. I couldn't figure out when you guys were going to do that. So I think that would be, you guys could ask for a more formal proposal when you know that date.
We don't have a date. Historically, that 45-day clock really gets started when somebody makes a request to us for funding from PILT.
Right.
Okay.
So if you want to talk to Matt and have them submit a written request for funding, then we will consider that at a subsequent BOCC meeting formally. And then if we do that, then that really starts the clock. We'll have to put that notification in the paper of record 45 days prior to making a decision.
Okay. I know he had sent me some bulleted items. Is there a format that you would like, or is it just kind of written up?
Yeah, I don't think we have a format, just whatever pertinent information that you guys believe need to be in there for us to consider that.
Okay. And do you guys know how much you're going to get, or is it kind of like
we do not.
Not yet.
We do have a balance. I don't know exactly what that is, but I know it's not 45,000. So
okay.
Probably won't get that PILT money until between June and July 2021. And so I don't know. We'll have to see. That would be another thing I guess you could have a conversation with them about, is when would they like to do this, knowing that we probably won't get our PILT funding revenue stream until mid-year.
And Guinevere, they could modify it, to give us options for funding that might be available. They got 15 people now. They ought to be able to prioritize things and maybe in chunks of $5,000 blocks or something like that. Just come up with a process. So we got some flexibility.
Yeah, and I think that's something Adrian and I have talked about too. And so certainly we could work through that together.
Right.
Yeah, if they would indicate, we would consider it worthwhile to do 5, 10, 15 homeowners or whatever. I think is what Commissioner Canada is alluding to. Give us a little bit of options to look at. I'm not sure it'd be worth going through the whole process to do 5 homeowners, but it's up to you guys.
Just pending funding. And they must have priority. I mean, there's got to be some places that are worse. They're in the mouth of a canyon and sucks the air up and blows their hard.
Yeah, I think the struggle that Matt has been having is getting people on board. So with that first round, it was like whoever will do it, and now people are all excited about it. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know how we'll prioritize, but we'll come up with a way.
Okay. All right, very good. If you get a chance to talk to Matt, tell him that we heard the majority of what he said, and then you can share our subsequent conversation with him.
Will do.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Who was that?
Have a good day. That was my son.
Yeah, okay, see ya.
Have a good day. Bye.
Okay.
Public comment, and there's no public.
Anything else, gentlemen, come before the board today? Go ahead, sir.
I'd like to bring up an issue that's been discussed before, but apparently we have a paper of record. We choose a paper of record. We agree to have a paper of record. So I don't feel it's appropriate for us when we put something out to put it in 3 different institutions when we have a paper of record. I don't know if that's wrong, maybe I'm being picky. But why bother choosing a paper of record if we're not going to adhere to that?
Well, the paper of record is for publishing legal notices that we're required to publish. A press release is different. Press release goes out to all news media. And should actually to the radio station too, probably should have, didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think technically you're right on, Clint, that we request those bids for prices for statutory and non-statutory legal notices. And so certainly if we put out a legal notice, it would be only to the paper of record, correct?
Right.
Anything else would be, I guess, up to the commissioners or however, but yeah, I wondered the same thing about, does X go to all 3 papers? Does X only need to go to the paper of record? So,
And that's fine. I think what you brought up
Yeah.
makes perfectly good sense. Public notice, we want to get that out to the public.
Public notice
It
is-
certainly makes sense.
takes up a lot of space and makes them some money.
So, yeah, maybe I'm barking up a tree for no reason.
yeah, and I guess then that comes down to 2. When you say public notice, I'm assuming you're really referring to a legal notice, right? Or is there a difference?
Well,
We've been doing a lot of press.
put out a press release.
Right.
That's a public notice of some information we want disseminated to the community.
There's no obligation for any newspaper to actually print a press
Right.
release.
And they print them for free.
Yeah.
The press.
If they choose to print.
Right,
it.
if they
If we
choose. to print.
pay to have something printed, that's different.
That's
For our legal notice
advertising, legal.
and the public notice of hearings, the things that have to be.
Well, let's say we wanted to pay to have a press release printed
Then you could pick your paper.
specifically, so that it wasn't up to them to print it or not. We want this printed, we pay to have that printed.
Right.
And I think the Board of Commissioners did that several years ago on something. I forget what it was now, but we actually paid to make sure it got in there without it being altered or anything else.
And I'm assuming that would go to the paper of record. But maybe paying's not,
But they would have to, that even paper record, we have to pay for ad space if it's something above and beyond the public notices.
And I think we did
Right.
purchase, and I think it may have been something
voted
to
on
do with the Hamilton Helping lawsuit that the county was involved in to get the full explanation out there.
yeah, I think there would be times when we don't want to leave it up to a paper whether or not they choose to put what we want in the paper. We
Right.
want it in the paper.
Which makes it an advertisement.
Right.
In my opinion, the only way we could assure that is to pay for it.
Right.
Right.
And call it a legal notice or
Right.
public notice paid
Or
by the county or.
an article.
I think if you're just giving them a public notice and not paying for it, they have a right to amend it, change it any way they
I
want.
suppose, yeah.
Yeah, so the only way you can make sure you're getting is if you pay for it.
Right.
That's the way I've always looked at it. Is
Yeah, they'll make it fit their space if they're giving us for free, so.
I suppose we can call it whatever. If we pay for it, it doesn't have to be a legal notice. It could be
Anything.
a press release, paid press release.
And then it would go to the paper of record only. Is that right? Or we
I
could, I
don't
guess
know.
we
I
could agree to
guess,
put it in.
yeah, if you want to pay for
Put
it
it wherever you want.
free pay per
And we
week in radio stations. And
We
that's what-
vote on that. We say, well, we're gonna put a big ad campaign out. We consider how we're gonna do it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would agree. The press releases, that's for the media, right? So, radio station and three papers.
And they can pick it up or not.
Anything else come for the
Not for me.
No, sir.
meeting? Any public comment? Hearing none, if there's no objection, I'm about to adjourn the meeting.
Hit that gavel.
Meeting's adjourned.